Most people think aging begins in the mirror. Wrinkles, gray hair, a face that looks a little different than it did 10 years ago. But one of the most important changes is happening where you cannot see it at all. It is happening inside your blood vessels. Those vessels feed your heart, your brain, your muscles, and every organ you depend on. And as they become less responsive, you may notice the consequences long before you understand the cause. Lower energy, slower recovery, colder hands and feet, or that frustrating feeling that your body no longer responds the way it used to. But here is the exciting part. Scientists have identified a tiny signaling molecule that helps your blood vessels relax, widen, and deliver blood where it is needed. It is called nitric oxide. And several ordinary daily habits can help your body protect the pathways that produce it. One of those habits begins on your tongue. One happens every time you breathe through your nose, and one can be activated with a simple walk. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will have a 5-step nitric oxide routine you can begin tomorrow morning. When I use the phrase reverse aging, I am not talking about changing the date on your birth certificate. I mean helping stiff, less responsive blood vessels regain some of the flexibility and signaling associated with healthier vascular function. That is where real vitality begins. Step 1. Wake up the signal inside your blood vessels. This first step explains what nitric oxide actually does and why protecting it becomes increasingly important after 50. Imagine the inside of each blood vessel covered by an incredibly thin living layer. This lining is called the endothelium. It is not just wrapping, it senses pressure, movement, oxygen demand, and chemical signals in your blood. When your muscles need more oxygen, the endothelium helps your vessels respond. When your brain becomes active, it helps direct more blood toward the areas doing the work. And one of the main messages it uses is nitric oxide. Nitric oxide tells the smooth muscle around a blood vessel to relax. The vessel opens, blood moves with less resistance. The heart does not have to push against the same narrow space. That ability to widen when needed is part of vascular resilience. With age, oxidative stress and other changes can reduce nitric oxide availability and make the endothelium less responsive. That does not mean everyone experiences the same decline, and it does not mean the process is hopeless. It means the system needs the right inputs. Think of nitric oxide as a short-lived message, not something your body stores in a tank. You support it by repeatedly giving your body the materials and signals it needs to make more. And the first practical way to do that is probably already sitting in the produce section. Step 2. Feed the nitrate pathway. This step is about giving your body raw material for nitric oxide, especially through nitrate-rich vegetables. Two of the most useful choices are beets and leafy greens. Beets, arugula, spinach, lettuce, and similar vegetables naturally contain nitrate. When you chew them, nitrate mixes with saliva and meets specialized bacteria on your tongue. Those bacteria help convert nitrate into nitrite. After you swallow, your body can continue the process and produce nitric oxide. It is a remarkable partnership. Part of your circulation system begins in your mouth. Research in older adults has produced encouraging results, although the response is not identical in every study. Some trials have found improvements in blood pressure or endothelial function. Others found that nitrate levels increased without a meaningful change in vascular measurements. So do not think of beetroot as a drug or a guaranteed overnight fix. Think of nitrate-rich vegetables as one useful part of a pattern that supports the pathway. Here is a practical starting point. Add a serving of leafy greens to one meal each day. That could be a handful of arugula, cooked spinach, or a simple mixed salad. On several days each week, add roughly half a cup to 1 cup of cooked beets. You can roast them, chill them, and add them to a salad. If you prefer beetroot juice, remember that it is much more concentrated than eating the whole vegetable. If you take blood pressure medication, have kidney disease, follow a potassium-restricted diet, or have a history of certain kidney stones, ask your healthcare professional before using concentrated beetroot drinks or powders. And there is one detail many people miss. Your tongue bacteria have to participate in this process. We will protect them in step 4. But first, there is another group of foods that supports the blood vessel lining from a different direction. Step 3. Add color to protect the lining. This step uses colorful plant compounds to support endothelial function. The two easiest examples are blueberries and cocoa-rich dark chocolate. Blueberries get their deep color from compounds called anthocyanins. In human studies, regular blueberry intake has been associated with improved flow-mediated dilation, a test of how well an artery widens in response to increased blood flow. The key word is regular. One heroic bowl of blueberries will not reverse years of habits, but a repeatable serving can become part of a better vascular pattern. Try about 1 cup of blueberries, fresh or frozen. Frozen berries still contain their colorful plant compounds, and they are often cheaper and easier to keep. Add them to plain yogurt, oatmeal, or a smoothie. Keep the recipe simple. You do not need to bury them under a large amount of added sugar. The second option surprises people: dark chocolate. Cocoa contains flavonols that have been studied for their effects on endothelial function. But the benefit comes from cocoa compounds, not from turning an entire candy bar into a health food. Look for dark chocolate with around 70% cocoa or more and keep the portion modest, perhaps 1 or 2 small squares. There is also an important catch. The percentage on the wrapper does not tell you the exact flavonol content, and processing can change it. So treat dark chocolate as a small supporting food, not a precise medical dose. Blueberries and cocoa give us a larger lesson. Color can be information. Deep blue berries, dark leafy greens, red beets, herbs, garlic, and other minimally processed plants bring different compounds to the table. You do not need all of them at every meal. You need variety across the week. Now we come to the step that almost nobody expects. You can eat nitrate-rich foods and still interfere with the first stage of conversion inside your mouth. Step 4. Do not shut down the tongue pathway. This step protects the oral bacteria involved in nitrate conversion and corrects one of the most misunderstood nitric oxide mistakes. Strong antibacterial mouthwash, especially products containing chlorhexidine, can sharply reduce nitrate-reducing bacteria for a period of time. Small studies have shown that this can reduce oral nitrite production. Some have also observed a small rise in blood pressure, although a newer review found that the overall blood pressure result across studies was not statistically conclusive. So the message is not mouthwash is poison, and it is definitely not ignore your dentist. Chlorhexidine may be prescribed for a good reason after dental work or for a specific gum problem. Do not stop a prescribed product on your own. The practical lesson is simpler. Do not use the strongest antiseptic rinse automatically for months just because it makes your mouth feel intensely clean. Ask your dentist what you actually need, how long you need it, and whether a gentler routine is appropriate afterward. Brushing, flossing, cleaning your tongue gently, and receiving professional dental care remain important. Protecting your oral microbiome does not mean abandoning oral hygiene. It means avoiding unnecessary chemical overkill. And when you eat beets or leafy greens, chew them. Let the food mix with saliva. Your mouth is not merely the entrance to digestion, it is the first workshop in this nitric oxide pathway. That brings us to a second workshop most people overlook, the nasal passages. Step 5. Breathe and move to create the signal. This final step uses 2 free tools, nasal breathing and movement, to reinforce nitric oxide related signaling. The nasal passages and sinuses naturally contribute nitric oxide to inhaled air. When you breathe through your nose, that air travels toward the lungs. Researchers have also found that humming can temporarily raise measured nasal nitric oxide many times above quiet exhalation. That does not prove that humming reverses whole body aging, but it gives us a simple way to engage the nasal system, slow the breath, and create a calming daily ritual. Try this for 2 minutes. Sit comfortably with your shoulders relaxed. Breathe in gently through your nose. Then exhale with a soft, steady hum. Do not force the sound or hold your breath until you feel uncomfortable. Repeat at an easy pace. If your nose is severely blocked or breathing feels difficult, do not force nasal breathing. Address the obstruction with an appropriate healthcare professional. Then add movement. As blood moves more quickly across the endothelium, it creates a mechanical force called shear stress. You can picture it as flowing blood gently brushing along the vessel lining. That stimulus helps activate endothelial nitric oxide signaling. You do not need an extreme workout to begin. Start with 10 minutes of purposeful walking. Walk at a pace that makes you breathe a little more deeply while still allowing you to speak in sentences. If 10 continuous minutes feels difficult, use 2 5-minute walks. If walking is uncomfortable, use a stationary bicycle, pool walking, or another movement you can perform safely and consistently. 2 or 3 times each week, add simple resistance work, controlled chair stands, wall push-ups, or light rows with a resistance band. Contracting muscle creates local demand for blood flow, while stronger muscles help you remain active enough to keep creating that demand. The goal is not exhaustion. The goal is a repeated signal. Food provides raw material. Your mouth helps convert it. Your nose contributes its own chemistry. Movement tells the blood vessels to respond. That is why the complete routine is more powerful than chasing one miracle supplement. Here is your one-day nitric oxide plan. This is the complete routine in a form you can actually use. Do not try to make it perfect, make it repeatable. In the morning, begin with 2 minutes of gentle nasal breathing and humming. At breakfast or lunch, include a colorful food such as blueberries. Fresh or frozen, both work. At lunch or dinner, add leafy greens or a serving of beets. If you enjoy dark chocolate, choose a small portion with a high cocoa percentage instead of a large sugary serving. Use your normal brushing and flossing routine, but check whether any strong antiseptic mouthwash you use is necessary for long-term daily use. If it was prescribed, follow your dentist's instructions and ask before changing it. Then take a 10-minute walk or complete another comfortable form of movement that raises blood flow without pushing you beyond your ability. That is it. No complicated supplement tower, no punishing workout, no promise that one vegetable will erase every year of aging. Instead, you are supporting a network. The endothelium, the oral microbiome, the nasal passages, the muscles, and the repeated signals that help blood vessels stay responsive. That is what reverse aging means in practical terms. Not becoming 20 years old again, but helping an older system recover some of the function, flexibility, and resilience it has been losing. Which of these 5 steps will you try first? The nitrate-rich vegetables, the colorful polyphenols, protecting the tongue pathway, nasal breathing and humming, or the 10-minute walk? Tell us in the comments. And subscribe for more simple, science-informed ways to stay strong, mobile, and healthy after